Sit back, relax, and join William and Lee on their journey through the strange and mysterious world.
All right, and welcome to season 2, episode 25 of Strange and Mysterious World. So we have a guest coming on all the way from the UK, United Kingdom. And that would be Carl Mclelland. I'm sure Mclelland is Scottish. My accent in Scottish is terrible. so I'm assuming, yeah. So Carl apparently he started off. Well, I don't know when he started off, but he was an army. He was in the army in the UK. He's a remote viewer, a psychic medium, and spiritual healer. So that's quite a few things in one, because most people kind of just focus on one. So for remote viewing, somebody just remote views, or if you were a psychic medium, somebody would be just focusing on psychic medium. So it's quite. I don't think it's often that it happens where people kind of specialize in different things. Normally, it's specialized in one area, and you kind of go from there. So that's
I think if you got like a intuitive kind of gift of psychic abilities, I think it could, it goes over the spectrum, maybe. Sure, like
we can ask. Let's ask Carl when he comes on.
But yeah, Carl, I interviewed him for my documentary about consciousness. It's awakening consciousness. It's Consciousness, the Awakening. Sorry, I don't even know the name of my own documentary. And he was and he gave a great interview about how they use it for in his business for espionage with his clients, like of big corporate entities. Like, I mean, I'm just saying Nike or like Reebok or whatever. They want to do some. I mean, I'm not saying that he did it for Nike or Reebok. I'm just doing this as an example. He would use it for espionage. Like Nike would come to him and go like, "Okay, please remote view what Reebok are doing, so we can get the advantage on them." And then he would remote view stuff for them and give them so that they would have an edge on their competitor. So that's what his business is.
He's like an inside man.
Yeah.
All right.
So here he is. Let's get him. Here he comes.
Cool.
Carl?
Hey, William. How are you?
Good, Carl, man. How you doing?
How are you?
Yeah, good, man. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, likewise, mate. Long time.
Yeah.
Carl, yes, my name is Lee. I'm the co-host with William. We introduced you a couple of minutes ago. Mclelland, is that Scottish?
Originating Scottish, yeah.
Yeah, see, I told you.
Yeah, the accent that he was putting on, I don't know if it was Vietnamese or Chinese or yeah. So I'm glad we got to the bottom of it.
Yeah, no, cool. So we're the couple of things that I see, Carl, that we're going to get straight into it. We always do. This is a conversation. There's no specific questions and things we'll ask you. We just shoot off the hip as we go.
Let's do this.
So you were an army soldier.
Yes.
What unit were you in? I'm assuming it was the UK.
I was in the Queen's Lancashire Regiment, King's Division.
Okay. And how long were you there?
3.5 years.
Okay. And then because you guys, like in South Africa, we used to have something called conscription, where you had to attend military service.
That's right. Yeah.
But obviously that fell away. Was it something that you had to do as well? Was it also?
No. Completely voluntary.
Okay. And you enjoyed it?
It was brilliant. I was originally going to stay on further and join the Royal Navy as an officer, but I didn't want to wait.
Okay. So now, going from an army soldier to becoming a remote viewer, psychic medium, and spiritual healer, that's like very opposite ends of the spectrum. So you've got army, and then you've got spiritualism. So how the hell did that happen?
Unless they had a remote viewing program in the army there. I don't know. Were you part of something like that?
No, no. Do you know, it took many, many years. I've always had an interest in intuitive things, mediumship, psychic, different things. Only actually found out about remote viewing about 5.5, 6 years ago.
Okay.
And went from there. Before that, I'd studied mediumship, psychic mediumship, forensic mediumship, um, and sort of collated a lot of tools in that area. Fell into remote viewing by accident, didn't know what it was, what it meant, the term, anything. And then after falling into it, did some research, discovered the term remote viewing, and it all went from there, as they say.
Okay.
So how did you fall into it? Like, what made you?
Well, before you fall into the remote viewing section, before we actually get to that, so you said you were doing the psychic medium and spiritual healing prior to the remote viewing. So how did you get into that?
Not too long before.
Yeah, what was the?
What's your psychic journey?
What happened? How did you get to there?
It was just an interest that I always had from growing up. My grandparents were psychics. So I was always somewhat, not so much involved, but interested and shown different things, that type of thing. They used to do a lot of psychic things with tarot, different things like that. I had books on it, which I'd sort of skim across. So it was always there. I think the main interest for me came as I got older, sort of matured in life a lot more, did what I wanted to do over the decades, if you like, and then sort of thought, I'm going to pursue this more, because it's something that really interests me and, sort of makes my heart glow type of thing.
So was there ever a point where, like, for example, we did a few podcasts, on remote viewing, and one of them we actually had a chat to Dick Olga, whom I'm assuming you would know in that field, and it was a very interesting discussion and conversation with him, because William and we started remote viewing, and yes, we're still in the baby steps and we're still learning to do this stuff, but it was a very specific point where personally I know that the stuff is real because I've experienced it, and I know that there is another realm that we are able to access. I don't know what people call it, the Akashic field, other people call it the dream world, whatever. I know for a fact that it's there. But a lot of people have never experienced it, they won't even consider those type of things. So, you're saying when you were growing up, you're reading books on tarot and books on all those sort of things. When was it where you actually realized, hold on, this shit is real? This is not just a game. This shit is real.
Actually, at the beginning, I've always believed it's real. I've always been spiritual and believed in, for me, we all label things different. For me, another realm or plural realms, that there was life after death, and all those different things that you could actually contact people who passed over. So it wasn't sort of an epiphany where oh wow, this stuff is real. I've always actually believed that. But when I look back, as I've mentioned, I think the more I went on in life over the years, and it sort of become, I don't know, more important to me to sort of find out information, which is why I started studying as an evidential medium, which is, psychic medium, and then went on a course in Scotland for forensic mediumship, and then it all came from there.
What does forensic mean? Is that where you're helping the police trying to identify people that have gone missing, murdered, those type of things?
Yes. You can, of course, like remote viewing, assist law enforcement. But what you're doing, we're evidential mediumship, as they call it in the UK, which is generally known as psychic mediumship. I've just come back from America and they weren't familiar with the term evidential mediumship, as they say, psychic mediumship. But again, it's just labels, how different people label a certain thing. With forensic mediumship, you wouldn't sort of bring someone's grandmother through and say, look, she's showing me, I don't know, a set of pearls. that was given to you after a passing and you keep them in the top drawer. That would be what I would refer to as evidential mediumship, where you could maybe turn around and say, yes, absolutely. I do keep them there. I had them out this morning looking at them. Where forensic mediumship is, it's obvious that the person has passed over, but it's related to how they passed. So it would be circumstances of possibly being murdered, or, you know, not nice things like that, but of course they do happen in life. And where you would ask them to assist you in showing you what happened and anybody involved, how it was, and you would get evidence in a completely different way. And that's why it's referred to as forensic mediumship.
Okay. And then how many people have you actually, I mean, how many cases have you actually done? So, you know, have they approached you, Scotland Yard, whoever, have they approached you and said, listen, we need a bit of help here. Can you assist us with this? Or the local police, hey, this guy's missing. How many have you done?
Not a great lot, but some you can't talk about, because don't forget as well, you're dealing with a privacy issue of people. Sometimes it'll be a non-disclosure agreement. Generally, it's not like Scotland Yard are going to pick the phone up, on the back phone, and there's the commissioner, and you're going to go out and do something. It doesn't work like that. I've assisted people with various ones. Some have been related with law enforcement because there may be a cold case, an ongoing case. But there's different aspects to it and how you approach it. You wouldn't, just like remote viewing, have someone come and say, look, I need to find my partner or my wife, husband. They've gone missing. There's certain due diligence you have to apply, because they might not be who they say they are. They might be telling lies, such as human nature. And they maybe want to find someone here alive and well on the earth plane for a totally different reason than what they're telling you. It could be a guy who's been beating his wife up regularly, and she's finally plucked up the courage to actually move away and try and reestablish her life. And he's trying to find her, and it ends up shooting her. So, there's all different things. It's not sort of clean cut. Oh, can you help me? Yes, not a problem. And here's what I've found.
Okay. And your
So how do
accuracy?
you go?
Sorry, Will. of the cases that you've done, how accurate have it been? So if you say, all right, it's a 90% hit rate, or it's 70%, how have you found it?
Well, each one's based on individual cases and how you connect and what you're actually shown. And remember this, to me, spirit and information, just like remote viewing, is never wrong. It's how we interpret it. This is the problem of how the viewer, the psychic, the medium interprets the information.
Okay.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, what we are shown, what we see, what we feel, and all the relevant impressions and data is never wrong how it's being sent. It's how we receive it and interpret it. On a percentage, I would go for a modest 70%.
Okay.
On what I've actually perceived, put in some form of report, and given to a client. And then, of course, they go on to do what they do with it, either personally, with law enforcement, with a private detective, or just peace of mind. Are you with me?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of moving parts, as you know. It's not just clean cut. Give me 10 minutes and I'll email you a report back.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
sorry. Well, you were going to ask?
No, I was going to ask this question, but I'll ask something else. But so, Cole, when did you know that you had these abilities, or did you actually just learn them? Like you went to these courses and you actually learned the abilities, or did you show some kind of signs that you had kind of a psychic ability before you started these
Well,
courses?
do you know what, William? I believe everyone's psychic. whether they choose to believe it, because of course, as has just been mentioned, this some will say, "What a load of codswallop," or "I don't want to know," and and that's an individual thing, isn't it? We're given free will, we choose to believe what we believe. There's been incidences like a quick one. Many moons ago, I went to a pub and there was a quiz on, me and my mate, few drinks during the week. And the guy what was doing the quiz, at the end, we didn't win the quiz, by the way, we did terrible. But at the end, he says, "I'm actually flying away tonight with my girlfriend. We're going on holiday. I think it was Spain. I've got my passport here. So what I'm going to do as a final thing is I want you to try and guess the number of the passport. The nearest to it wins free drinks all night." Now, at the time, I think it was 2 letters and 8 numbers on the UK passport, right?
Okay.
This is pre-EU days and Brexit and everything else. The old one. So I just wrote it down and I came round and collected them all. And then he came over to me and he was quite white in the face and he said, "You really have scared me with what you've put." So I just started laughing, we're having a few drinks, me and my mate, and said, "Why, my picture's not in your passport, is it?" Sort of making a joke of it. And he said, "No, apart from one number and one letter, you've got my passport number." I said, "Lucky guess, mate." He went, "No, it's more than that." And I said, "Hey, we still get the free drinks, yeah?" You know what I mean? Let's get priorities right here. And he was laughing, but he was a little bit
Worried.
disturbed in a nice way, shocked. So little things like that would happen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I used to sometimes I'd phone my brother if I was, say, abroad working, and I'd say, "Do you know, yesterday I got you round these tents or marquee type things, and I could smell Indian food. What was you doing? Was it a fairground or something?" And he said, "Oh no, I was in Manchester at a big food convention with all these marquees up. It was Foods of the World." So we used to play about like that type of thing.
So you were already remote viewing, you didn't even know it.
Well, of sorts, of sorts. I mean, little things. And I do believe personally, and again, it's just a personal thing, that not only is everybody psychic, but everybody at some point has surely experienced similar things.
Hmm.
A sixth sense or something. Many dismiss it, and that's entirely up to them. Many sort of maybe, go forward with it. Some, like yourself, William, me, will take training in certain intuitive things. And it sort of goes from there, doesn't it?
So now, how did you fall into remote viewing?
Right. That is what I call by accident. I was in a building and I was sat, and the next thing I started to see this guy who I knew to be alive and well on the earth plane, and he's at this house putting a key in a door, right? So, being of an investigative nature, I'm clocking everything. So I'm sort of looking and going, the garden out is lined with 12-foot conifers, a couple of shades of green, light and dark. There's a driveway with gravel and flagged paving going up to a garage door, which is white. He's opening the door, it's hinged to the left. I follow him in and I'm looking at the carpet, blue floral pattern, stairs to the right, shooting off at 90 degrees up to the landing, kitchen ahead. To the left, I looks in the living room, looking at the layout of the couch, the coffee table, the TV, and then that was it. And because I'd done mediumship, which obviously people had passed over, and I knew this guy was still alive and well on the earth plane, it just blew my mind. I didn't know what had happened because my mediumship mostly plays like a video anyway, but this had with a person in the here and now, for wanting of. So I goes outside and I'm stood there facing this small car park. And there's about a dozen cars in this car park, all side on, and I'm just blew away. So I thought, I'm going to try it again. if I can remember what I did, type of thing. So I went into it again, and then in the session, I moved over to a black car on the car park, proceeded to put my head through the boot of the car, look to the right, clock two umbrellas, and I'm looking, thinking black umbrellas about 2.5 foot long, one large sporting golf type umbrella about 3.5 foot long, maybe yellow, red, blue, white. I looked to the left, saw a small black hold all, and then took my head out. And I'm thinking, what has just happened? And now I'm imploding, exploding with excitement. So as the people are coming out the building, I sort of asked, whose is the black? Oh, and I'd got 2 letters and 2 numbers of the registration in my head because they were side on. I couldn't see them. UK ones start with like BC 17 type of deal. And he said, yeah, that's my car. I finally found out. I showed him what I put on the reg because I quickly noted it down afterwards. He said, well, you've got 1 letter and 1 number right. The other number and letter are wrong. And I asked him if he'd humour me, which took a bit of doing, I must admit, to confirm or deny what was in the boot when I told him. He said, I have 2 black umbrellas. I always keep them there, British weather and all that. I'm a keen golfer. I don't leave the bag in because it takes all the room up, but I keep the brolly in. He said, you've got 3 colours right, 1 wrong. He said, I do have a bag. It's black to the left, and it's my overnight bag for when I stop at my partner's. So now I am just like, wow. And everything was just going on in the head and excitement and everything. So I sort of got home and I'm Googling and I'm trying to put keywords in, obviously for the best effect and results of what had happened. And that's how I discovered the term remote viewing.
Okay.
But wait, Carl, so I'm just a bit lost. Like that first thing where you saw the guy going up the driveway and that,
Yeah, to the house.
what were you doing? Were you doing a meditation or what's
Yeah, I was actually just sat with my eyes closed, right? And I actually spoke to the guy and his wife a few days after, to get some feedback. But I've also felt guilty. If it was real, I'd just gone into somebody's house without permission, and I felt really bad because I knew them. So I went over to them and I said, look, and I explained, I said, this is going to really seem way out there. However, I've got to tell you what has happened and what I've done. And I explained it, and they said, that is our houses with the conifers, with the driveway. I even got the street because a politician had jumped in, so to speak, the face of a British politician at the time with the surname Whitcomb. Now, I didn't know what that meant, but I got confirmation off the couple that it was their house. It was Whitcomb Drive, that the stairs did go off on a 90-degree cut up to the landing, blue floral carpet, etc. She said, but there's only one problem. I went, right, go on, hit me with the criticism. She said, we haven't lived in that house for 10 years. We're getting older and we have to move out into a bungalow so we don't have stairs. So now I'm even more blown away because I'm thinking I haven't sort of time travel per se, but I've gone back at least 10 years confirmed with what I've
what
viewed.
what took you to there? What took you there? I mean, not to your girlfriend's
I have
house.
no idea. To this day, I do not know. Why didn't I go, I don't know, to the moon, to, some tropical island? I just do not know
Maybe
why that was.
maybe when you were sitting with your eyes closed, your mind was on a certain frequency, and maybe that's the house and that event was maybe on that frequency. So that's probably why you were able to see it on that.
It could actually be possible. I try not get into the O's and Y's too much. I try and keep everything as simple as possible.
Yeah.
But a lot of my remote viewing is with my eyes closed, free flow, because for me, it shuts everything off, the left brain as much as you can. It sort of the real, if you like, here and now. Nothing's really getting through, or hopefully not. And that's my easiest way to just start off with a
It
session.
sounds like you're doing a bit of like out of body OBE, like out of body experience with it. You know, go into the guy's boots, sticking your head in.
Well, no, let me tell you why. I've done remote viewing where you have OBEs, for instance. Now, I'll tell you there is a difference. When it plays like a video and you're viewing it, to me, it's viewing it, right? I did an OBE once where I was viewing blind, and all of a sudden, I was on a mountain, sliding down it, fast as hell, falling on my backside, jumping up and not knowing what the hell was going on. That my eyes were watering with the cold wind. And I was like this, literally, what the? And I'm trying to clock everything, collate everything quickly. And then, boom, came out the session. And then when I did it, I drew a matchstick guy going down this slope at fast speed, and I put various descriptors in: fast, gritty surface, maybe water underneath, this, that, and the other. And it turned out it was two snowboarders going down a mountain. Now, I'd only got one, right? But whether that was because I'd had an OBE and been there and I was concentrating on myself, I don't know. So there is a difference in that respect.
But so this OBE technique, was it a technique, or were you just doing a remote viewing session and you happened to just pop out of body, or like, or how did, is there a
Yes, the
technique
latter.
you do?
The latter. I was just doing a remote viewing session, and just as I got into it, I was there. And I was sat down like now on an office chair, right? But in the session, I was just balancing, and whoa, it was like boom. And
Wow,
I
amazing.
actually spoke at the International Remote Viewing Association conference a couple of weeks ago, and I was chatting with people there, and a few of them have had it is a common thing that you can have the OBEs. How it works, I do not know. Why it happens at, should we say, random times, again, I don't know.
Wow.
Okay, so now
But it's an
you found
interesting
out.
experience.
Okay, so you found out now. Okay, cool. I've got some sort of remote viewing ability. How did you? What was the next steps? What were your thoughts? Okay, I need to do a bit of training in this. What training session did you kind of follow the same training sessions as the guys that we've been doing, like Dick Algar and the other guys? Well, you know all the names. Did you follow
Right.
their
Well,
routes, or did you just do something completely different?
no, I didn't follow their routes. As you know, there's many methodologies in remote viewing. Um, what I did from there, I got up, as I told you, the term remote viewing on Google, and I'm looking at all the SRI stuff, Stargate, US military intelligence, and that's a wealth of information, as you're aware of. So I sort of just moved that away, looked at the brass tacks, what I need to know, found target pools, did a look to make sure they were legitimate trainers. And I went into target pools, and I was just doing 5 or 6 of these in an hour, usually late at night, early hours of the morning if I couldn't sleep. And I would just literally jump in, grab the first thing, come out, confirm it, move on to the next one. But the trouble is with this, before I trained, I was sort of jumping in, grab a bird detail or a couple of details, confirm, and then I was getting 4, 5 out of 6, right? But then when I got one wrong, I would think, it's a fluke see. It doesn't work. I'll try again. So I was chasing my tail. And as I mentioned at the Urva conference, I was like some puppy dog being brought home for the first day, wagging its tail, running about, full of excitement, and just grabbing anything. And in the end, I just had to think, hang on, there's two things apparent here. One, I am totally undisciplined with this. I'm just anywhere and everywhere. Secondly, I need training. That's a fact. And a lot of my professional life in the past has been highly disciplined. So I'm thinking, and this is what I need. Then I found Deborah Linkatz, who is the president at the moment of Verva, and she has her own training school, International School of Clairvoyance. and I took training with her, and then it literally unfolded from there.
Hey, but you've done actually quite a lot of training with quite a lot of the high-end people.
Yeah, my first, as I mentioned, was Deborah Lynn Katz. That was 5.5 years ago, something like that. Since then, I've trained with Stefan Schwartz. He's one of the founders of Associative Remote Viewing. Stefan used to work many years ago in the Pentagon when Richard Nixon was president. He's done remote viewing things, finding Cleopatra's tomb and various things in Egypt. He's been loaned a submarine of the Secretary of the US Navy to find Spanish armadas with remote viewing. So he's done a lot of
And
stuff.
there's a great
Um,
documentary on YouTube if people want to go watch that. It's really cool.
yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting stuff
His
there.
work he's done.
And
It's really cool.
recently, Prue Calabrese, Birdie Jawowski, she used to have trans-dimensional systems, and then it was the most successful company in America for remote viewing. And then she disappeared for 20 years, and she's literally just come back. So various trainers, along with myself, and very experienced people in the field of remote viewing, went to see her and take her course, which is now she's changed a lot of things and perfected it to trans-dimensional mapping. And you would never see so many trainers and experienced remote viewers at a training course for remote viewing. But it's because of how different it was and that she'd been off the grid for 20 years that this happened.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So now skipping forward, you went to a conference in the US.
Yes and no. It was a conference cruise sailing from Galveston in Texas across the Gulf of Mexico to Mexico and back. And it was actually in the worst hurricane on American records
Oh,
a
was that
few
the one a
weeks
couple of
ago.
weeks ago? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So we were sheltering off the coast of Mexico and across from Cuba just till it passed.
So nobody remote viewed the weather on the boat before the remote viewing conference.
That was one of the jokes with us. But do you know what? Actually, we did. We did remote view it because we knew from the US weather reports and the Coast Guards and everything else. And we got asked to remote view it. I did a quick remote viewing. I saw one of the walkways where the staterooms are on a cruise liner, and it was sort of undulating round, but I was able to move across it. Well, that told me it's going to be choppy, a bit bumpy, but nothing adverse or dangerous that, it's going to become the new Titanic or anything like that. So,
Okay. So now
That would be ironic of that was the new Titanic was with the conference with the remote viewers on it. They'd be like, yeah,
yeah,
there's so much for that
and
remote
it was
view.
a main conference, it was the 25th anniversary of the International Remote Viewing Association. And yeah, some things you've got to go for.
all right. So what is the conference all about? So everybody from around the world, remote viewers from around the world get together. Do the guys have kind of, I'm assuming you have discussions, those kind of things that happen through the day, lunches, and then is there training sessions, or is it just literally like talks?
No, it's much more than that. It's well, Irva was set up um to get, if you like, the word out across the globe and promote remote viewing. They have training, they have competitions, they have a monster wealth of information in the archives. They have magazines electronically what come out. There's tutors, there's just everything. They've actually got, in case you didn't know, the Zoom web conference. I think it's on the 5th of November. And that's over a couple of days as well. And there's a lot of speakers, a lot of very knowledgeable people from all walks of life who've worked in intelligence, who've worked in other key areas. Prue Calabrese, Birdie Jawowski is actually speaking at that one, as well as a lot of other people. We do fun remote viewing things as well. We did on the cruise. where we'd do an outbounder exercise. Someone would go and sort of place itself somewhere on the ship, and you would remote view to find them, locate objects that have been placed around the ship. The talks, it was really laid back as well, this one, with it being the first ever cruise. But it's where people can come together. There was 2 days of brilliant speakers. There's some been posted on, Facebook and YouTube and other social media. And it's a really great thing that people can get together. They can have talks. It's informal. There's questions put to each person, giving the presentation, and it's just a wealth of information.
What was your talk about? Because you actually were one of the speakers, weren't you?
I was one of the speakers. Yeah, mine was a remote viewer's journey. So I was just sharing how I started, very similar to what we're talking about now for the basics, and what I've done up to then, different sort of tools that I use, because everyone's different. My talk was on how we're all unique and individual as our DNA, and that we all find different ways of doing things. Now, it was also about the importance sort of structured format and professional training, but then sort of having that as your foundation, moving on then, maybe trying a few other things and blending it to what works best for you, because we're all different how we perceive things, our different viewpoints, pardoning the pun, of remote viewing. We all get different data in different ways, and it will represent different things for different people.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. So, but you teaching remote viewing now?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So you've taken all of the courses you've done, and you've made your own like kind of like teaching method, or are you borrowing from all of the other ones, or you teaching
Well,
on someone else?
I'm using some from different teaching methods, and I'm also putting in some of the tools that I use. And what this is about is using the different tools in a remote viewer's toolbox to extract or collate the most and best information correlating to any feedback that you can. And the more comfortable one is when they're remote viewing or doing anything, to be fair, the better it will be. If somebody's like, I'm not really keen on that, but I'll give it a go, that isn't going to yield anywhere near as much fruitful information or data as if they enjoy it and it really suits them. We're all unique and we have our own ways. And this training course is to show people different ways of literally looking at it to get the best information. And I've already spoke to my friend Prue Calabrese, Birdie Jawowski, and she's given me a full permission to incorporate a brand new, over the last 20 years, transdimensional mapping, which is an amazing thing
Wow.
in itself.
And you're gonna do the course in South Africa soon?
Yes, in January, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Whereabouts you go? Where you going?
It's in Cape Town.
Ah, well, like you will.
yeah, well, we're getting Carl out here to do a remote viewing course. So any listeners, please, if you guys are interested, Carl, tell us how they can reach you and book a seat, and what the course involves. How long is it, and
Cost.
yeah, the cost.
Right. The course will start on a Wednesday because some people just can't take the whole week off, sort of working week. So we're going to run from Wednesday through to Sunday. So it's a 5-day course. It's going to be 9 till 5. On the course, all materials are going to be supplied. So all the different size papers for doing your sessions, for mapping, all the materials for drawing, sketching, different things. We're going to be using projector for feedback, whiteboards, flip boards. It's going to be highly interactive. It's also all about fun. And although it's of a serious nature, it's going to be light where everybody will actually enjoy it. We're going to cover remote viewing, different methodologies, the basics, mediograms, probing, feeling. We're going to go scanning. We're going to go transdimensional mapping, which just opens it up. I liken it from an X-ray to a CT scan. It literally is layer cake and digs far deeper. We're going to do associative remote viewing, going to place small wagers out of my pocket just for a bit of fun on various sporting events. We're going to do outbounder exercises where I'm going to go somewhere in Cape Town and the students are going to describe where I am
Table Mountain.
and the surroundings. We're going to do remote diagnosis and healing for humans and for animals. It's going to cover an array of things where all the students at the end of it are going to have training to decide where they want to go from there, maybe professionally or study more. But the fact that it's going to be so interactive and making it fun as well is so they can absorb everything what's going to be said. I've just been asked to do one in Germany. That's going to be with a translator. That'll be later next year. Then there's another in Scotland, and then I've got one possibly in Austin, Texas. So it's going to be moving about. The whole concept of this training and what's unique to a point of it is most trainers, which is fine, I get it, do a lot of online work. And that is brilliant because you reach anybody and everybody in an instant. You've got other trainers what actually have a classroom, a physical one, where people can go to, wherever that may be in a particular country. Not many trainers move too far. You've got one in America what might move a couple of states or across Europe, maybe to one country, but not much else. What I'm doing is literally taking it on the road to the people in key locations in various countries. So it's sort of on the road, boots on the ground, and then I'm off to another country doing it. And that's what makes it to a point unique. And if anybody wants any information, it's www.vantagepointrv.com.
Okay.
All right, and that also in the links in that in the show notes.
But now the Vantage Point, that's your company.
Yes.
Okay. So if somebody say somebody didn't want to attend the session in Cape Town or Germany, wherever, you've got training sessions on that www.vantagepoint.rv. You've got training videos and subscriptions. I'm assuming that people can then join and they can do training remotely.
No, see, I got asked before, would I do Zoom link up? And I politely said no. The whole concept of this is in person. So it will sort of defeat the object and the whole point of Vantage Point, that we go in person to key locations. So let me just say for the future, it says this on the website. If obviously I've been to South Africa several times for months at a time, and worked there and done a lot of remote viewing there as well. But if, for instance, obviously Cape Town is at one side, and it's a big country, beautiful country. And I would also then, if there was enough interest, offer Johannesburg, Durban, or consider other areas. So it isn't set in stone if, Bill from right at the other side said to me, oh no, it's only Cape Town. I would say, well, yeah, if I can get enough people, because obviously there's a lot of logistics involved and initial expense, then certainly I will give it serious consideration and liaise with you on coming over there. Again, it's like Canada. Would I do Quebec? Yes. Montreal? Yes. But then in between, if someone said, well, look, would you come here? Then, of course, I would, like the lady in Frankfurt, Germany, when she asked. I hadn't considered Germany, but I certainly wouldn't dismiss it, as with any country. If there's enough people to actually be able to logistically and financially come over in person, take it on the road and say, yes, we'll come here, then absolutely.
What's the cost, Cole? So if somebody wanted to attend the 5-day course, what's the cost of the course?
Right. Well, and I'll give you the South African term. For UK ones, it's 565 for the week's course. European ones is 665, 765, beg your pardon. And long haul, like South Africa, America, is 865. That's just short of 20,000 rand.
Okay.
Right. Usual online courses in America will cost you $900, $1,000. The Some people charging $3,000 for a week's course,
Yeah, how much was
which
Dick
is
Aldive? Remember that was like I think it was like
It was
80
800,
pounds.
it was $800
Ah.
for,
But
and that was for online course. That wasn't even
but
personal.
you said
That was,
but Carl, the first few people that buy, they get quite a big discount.
yes, the first four. It's on literally on the book now button. The first four get 25% discount. And as well, see, some people like the online, and I get it. I did my first training online with Deborah, and it was amazing, right? But some people I know from talking about them and traveling around in different countries do like the in person. So we're just providing something a little bit different in actually taking it to the country. Now, when you think a flight for someone in South Africa to get to the UK or America alone, let alone hotels, the logistics, taking extra time than 5 days off work and everything, would be a lot more than the price of a 5-day course us coming to you. So it's sort of a win-win if you look at it like that. It narrows down people with time commitment, but they're still getting the in-person thing. So, and also on the course, what we're going to be doing is doing prizes of remote viewing books, like the Associated Remote Viewing book with Deborah Linkatz and John Knowles, which is an amazing book if nobody's read it, or you two, on ARV, and things like that. So yeah, it's going to be very involved, and students are going to have to work hard, because at the end of the day, it's what you put into it.
and then how many
Yeah,
people do you need for a course? So if you said, okay, because I'm in Durban, obviously Will's in Cape Town. So if you said to me, all right, Lee, I could probably come across to Durban, but I would need minimum of 15
12.
people, 12. Okay.
12.
See, our remote view,
It's a
close, eh? Close. I said 15.
but you know what, Carl, it's a great price because it's about 3,000 rand a day, which is like, I mean, if you go to any course in Cape Town here of any like kind of like healing course or whatever, you're gonna probably pay like about 3,000 to even more per day. So it's a pretty good price. And I remember the first online course that I did with remote viewing, and this was quite a long time ago. It was like 9,000 rand. It was an online thing, but now, I mean, that was quite a long time ago with inflation and everything. It's definitely would be about 20,000 rand online course. So I think that's pretty good.
Well, who's that online course that we were doing? That's the CDs.
David Morehouse.
Yeah, no, not Morehouse. It was the other one. That other one that we got the CDs for. It was 20,000 rands worth of. This just came back like in the 80s.
Oh, that was the Gateway experience?
Yes, Gateway. Yeah. Whoa, geez, that was expensive. Yeah. The Gateway experience. Yeah. But now, okay, Carl. So just a quick one before we kind of finish off here.
Okay, mate.
William and I, like I've said earlier, we've been remote viewing. We're doing it probably 3 times a week on average.
Wow.
He sends me a number. I send him a number. We sometimes very shit at it. Sometimes it's okay. But
I'm always shit at it.
No, actually not. But the thing is, there's like you were saying earlier, we've got very different techniques. So William, as an example, he follows a very stringent, like the Morehouse technique or the Gateway experience, where they do the start time, the hour of the day, what day it is, and then they do the whole ideogram, quick squiggle, And then he goes along and he says, okay, it's man-made, it's whatever, natural, blah, blah, blah. He does all that. I don't. He gives me a number. I'll go and review. I'll look at the number as per what Dick Argyle said. Just said, close your eyes, look at the blackboard on the top, see the number appear, open your eyes, close your eyes, and then do what you see. And I'll just draw. I'll go and search. I don't do any of the ideograms. I don't do any of that stuff because I find that so tedious.
I give him like 5 pages of data, and then he gives me like it's not even 1 page, like half a page of like something that he found at work. It was like, I think it's half a napkin, and it's like got 3 little scriggled like drawings on it, and he's like, there you go, that's my thing.
Do you know
but
what?
Then he made me slack, because then I'm like, oh fuck, why am I doing all this work? So then I just started doing. Dick Argyle was giving us like this like flash thing that you stick your eyes up like this, and you put your pen down, you look up for a few seconds, and whatever comes in, you do. So then I started just doing that for him, writing the number or picturing the number. So now that's my method, but it's not. I don't find it any more better or worse or.
Do you know what it is? It's great to hear from you two guys that you're both at different sort of ends of the spectrum here on how you do it, because, right, I don't do ideograms and I don't probe, right? I just literally close my eyes, go into it and get information. Does it mean it's always right? No. But on the course, I'm going to teach once we've literally, because with the course, very quickly, you're going to get people like you guys who's done remote viewing and tried more than one methodology. And you're going to get people who's only just heard of it and they're brand new. So we'll quickly go over the brief history, just to let them absorb a little bit without dragging it on. And then I'm going to teach basic ideograms, just in case people want to use those, right? I'm going to teach basic probing, but then I'm going to teach moving your left hand, if you're right-handed, your non-dominant hand over the ideogram, and show the students how to pick up different data, right, and impressions for your sketches and your descriptors. They're going to be taught how to do, which is so important in remote viewing, especially for professional client work, is a summary at the end. And this is where I'll give you an example very quickly. The summary is obviously what it says on the tin, but unlike aesthetic impact, emotional impact, where you may put, I'm feeling happy or sad or something feels a bit iffy, you get to write several paragraphs of what you've absorbed. I'll teach them to absorb everything at the end of the session, how to do a flyover of the session, right? I have a few tools. Well, I'm not going to mention too much here, like the catapult effect. I'll teach them if they can't get in from a target number, don't push it. I'll show them how to go through the door. If they're knocking on the door and it won't open, I'll teach them how to go through it and position themselves there at the location, right? There's different things like that. There's the basket method I use for collating the information. There's locking on in the session to things in the earth, flying, floating. They can be man-made, biological, and like a tractor beam, bring them in, rotate them 360 degrees, open them up, close them, then release. Put your information down, go back in the session. So they're getting to try anything and everything in our particular course. Then the methodology at the end. I did one where it was about an atom, right? Now, I didn't know, obviously I was blind. I think it was double blind, this one. And in the end, I put what I could see and what shapes and colors. But then here's the key. I picked up on this could be used for good or bad, but I have a feeling it could be used for averting danger, but definitely also be extremely dangerous. Well, that summarizes the atom. On another one, it was an outbounder in an iFly. iFly is all across America. It's an indoor skydiving center or centers, right? And I picked up, I got the tubes and the wind and different things and light, but I picked up, this seems false. It's likened to an exhibition like Disneyland with the illusion of being free, but you're not free. It's confined. It's man-made. These are what are going to be taught, that you actually really soak up the essence. Now, it's not always right. Nothing in life is 100%, but it's soak up the essence of a session so you can produce a summary. And then whether you're giving it to your tasker, your monitor, right? Or you're actually then transferring it into layman's terms for a client. So they don't want to hear all that babble. Oh, I've got emotional impact or aesthetic impact, and here's a sketch or a squiddle. They're not interested. If they want to say, look, I need you to tell me, is there oil in that location before I spend $1 million on a drilling rig to go and drill for it? That's all they want to know. So you need to put it in a professional layman's terms report, because the client's going to be paying good money, and then have a meeting with them and say, this is what we have for you. And they go from there. And that's why all these different things are going to be they are so important, but going to be so important to be taught within this course.
Fantastic, man. That's very cool.
And like yourself there, and the both of you is doing slightly different. This is what the course is about. It's not, this is how we do it, end of. You don't divert from this whatsoever. It's showing different aspects, and you tailor make your own thing where it works for you and your interpretations of it. I did one on mapping. I'll just tell you this very quickly. I did one on the transdimensional mapping, right? And I got a Venus flytrap. I sketched the Venus flytrap. Okay. Now, to me, when I get that, it signifies imminent death and 99% death, right? Now, when I tell you the feedback, that would have been scrapped as an AOL. But hear me out where I'm going. Then I got some rods and tubes. Then I got all black goo coming down the wall and people running. I got a building, but the windows I sketched were blacked out. This tells me there's something dodgy going on. It's probably government, political, and they don't want you to see. They want to keep it away from you. And after this, it turned out it was the nuclear reactor break in Japan after the tsunami, where they tried to cover it up, and a lot of people got killed. So you see how it opens it up, where you can put this in a report. Just see what I'm trying to say here. On another one, the feedback, which was double blind, right? I'll tell you in a second. I got an umbrella. Now, if I get an umbrella and sketch an umbrella, it means protection, always. Now, this one was a large parasol, right? Now, in some conventional remote viewing methodologies, that would be written off as an AOL. It doesn't count. But in one of the things with the transdimensional mapping, it isn't. When I got the parasol, it meant there was a lot of serious protection and life. Then I sketched steel being wrapped round this sort of abstract shape, right? Now that tells me you'd protect like a child. If something bad was happening, throw your arms around it. It turned out it was bees protecting the queen because the nest had been destroyed. So you see, and that was just part of it. Now, in a lot of traditional remote viewing, that would have been written off. It's an AOL, no. It's how we perceive things personally, like you two doing different things. Another guy got the skull and crossbows, traditional, death, there's something bad. I got the Venus flytrap. It's how we see things. Once I got, and this is the last, I'll definitely stop. Once I got this very elaborate Cinderella type carriage, right? Now, I was double blind. It was something on the moon, a base on the moon. And when I get a carriage, depending on the class of the carriage, whether it's an old Victorian taxi from the 1800s or this, tells me I'm going on a journey. I'm literally going somewhere. And depending how big and elaborate is how far it is and exciting. Well, this told me it was a hell of a long way away. And it would have been written off as an AOL. Do you see where I'm coming from? Everybody's got a different viewpoint. And it's how we personally perceive things. Just like in mediumship, I have a friend of mine, when she sees a smoking chimney, it's a birth, right? Go figure. That's what, and she's very rarely wrong with it. If I see somebody dressed in black, it's sadness or death. It's a very similar concept, and it's all about, this course is all about how we individually perceive the information, because I stand by what I said at the beginning. I believe the information, what is there, not shown there, is never ever wrong. It's how we perceive it, to write down in descriptors and impressions on sketches, and therefore a summary and a report.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
very interesting, man. Yeah.
Just also, sorry, with like me and Leo practicing, how often were you practicing in the beginning? How often do you think people should be practicing every day to hone this skill? Or like, I'm sorry, every week, like, or once a day, or how?
After professional training,
Yeah.
No, even before, just to try and get your skills,
Like
start
going to
getting
the
going.
gym, like to get, if you want to
well, do you
get your
know
face,
what?
you're gonna get ripped, you want to go 3 times a week, or go
No,
more.
there's no specific. I mean, I'd say to you both, William and Leo, it's, again, it's individual. Do you know why? It depends on your lifestyle and that week. If you're having a busy week at work or business and it's getting a bit hectic, leave it alone. Don't do it. When you feel relaxed and you can be on your own for, say, 30 minutes or an hour minimum, then is a great time. So you see how I can't say 3 times a week or every night. Whenever you feel that, you relax, you're chilled, you've nothing really on your mind, you've finally got some me time, then's a good time to do it. Go on some reputable target pools. What you'll see belong to reputable trainers, right?
Like Laurie Williams or Daz Smith or
Well, the one I like to use is Deborah Lynn Katz from the International School of Clairvoyance. But there's other target pools as well with reputable trainers. So it's not from some crackpot somewhere. Because there's various targets, and some, use AI targets. You should never use artificial intelligence targets because it isn't real. You can't pick up on what's going on there. Do the targets, do it in whatever method you feel is comfortable for you, right? Get just a bunch of descriptors. And I don't mean to use that term loosely, because obvious areas of remote viewing can be highly serious. People's lives and business and everything else, whether they're choosing to invest, locate someday, it's attached to law enforcement. It has a real serious nature. But on the actual learning and trying to own your skills, do the target pools, get your descriptors down, sketch your few impressions, and then at the last of this, right, and definitely not least, is ask when you've done some movement commands. You need to fly above the area, outside it, inside it, get close to it, back at it, throw it like this. I did one for Machu Picchu, which again was blind. And I put, there's an hidden tunnel 5 meters. And they didn't know about it. And when they checked on Google, an hidden tunnel at 5 meters long had been discovered. You really need to work it. But the essence is be comfortable. If you feel you're stressing stuff, back off. You've got to be comfortable, like it's enjoyable. And at the end, absorb. I'll just sit there and close my eyes and go, right, come on, give me the vibe of this place. What's going on? I need to feel it. And this is how you pick up something's off with this. This is not right. Or like the iFly indoor skydiving. It's got the illusion of being real, but it isn't. It's like a theme park, or like the atom. And this is how we do it. So my answer to the question may sound a bit across the board and vague, but do you understand why I can't just say 3 nights every night?
Yeah.
It's whenever you actually
Yeah.
feel you've got time, like if you'd relax and pour, I don't know, a malt whiskey and light a cigar and sit in your chair and kick back with a bit of music to chill, that'd be a great time. Just leave all those things alone and do the remote viewing instead. That type of thing. If a person's coming home and saying, you know what, I'm going to sit there and pick up a bit of knitting, because that relaxes me, then try it. It's whatever is personal to you. And that's why our courses, the emphasis is on it's personalized. So everybody will at some point start to do it slightly different and perceive things in a different way. And at the end of the day, I always say this, and it goes against a few of the remote viewers. I don't care if I have to strip off naked and do cartwheels down the hallway singing Sweet Home Alabama. If I can get information what correlates in a positive way to that feedback, then it's a win.
Jeez, I'm going to try that straight after this.
What do
Podcast.
cartwheels naked down the freeway?
Yeah, sick.
or backflips, who knows?
Yeah, no, cool. No, awesome.
Yeah, wait. So, Carl, have you seen this book I don't know when it came out, but I think it's quite new. Project 8200. So let me see what it is.
Project
Project
8200. I don't recall that.
8200.
Who's the book by?
Oh man, it just came out. We have to do a show on it. It's by Frederick H. Atwater, but it's about Pat Price. It's all about the remote viewing between Joe McMonagle, Pat Price, and some other big guys of all the bases, the alien UFO bases around the world. And I mean, on their website, it's fantastic. I mean, they've even got like John McMonagle, they've got some of his actual like footage or like video, audio of him doing the sessions and like of these bases. It's incredible. I really highly.
There's some amazing stuff out there. There really is.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Um,
do you know what, lads? I honestly implore you to sign up for the International Remote Viewing Association conference on the first week of November. Seriously. And it will give you so much knowledge to listen to some of these guys actually talk about what they've done, what they're about to do. The IRVA is planning with other key countries now, as we speak, to put a platform together with translations in some of them to have everybody come together and literally get it round the globe. There's amazing stuff, and it will really open your eyes, a lot of it, of what's being done with the associative remote viewing, what people are doing with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, just all different applications. And you know the beauty about it, whilst in anywhere in such as human nature, you may not care for some people or what they're saying, but there'll be something what you will sort of really take to and go, wow, this lady is opened my eyes, or this guy is amazing what he's telling me. And it's a wealth of information. And it's the last one of the year till next year.
Okay, so that's the remote viewing conference on Zoom,
still,
That's a Zoom. It's a Zoom.
Better still, if we ever have another cruise conference next year, come on it.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, cool.
That sounds wonderful. I'd really love to. Absolutely.
Yeah, remote viewing conference on Zoom. It's a Zoom conference.
Yeah, that's the one in November, Leo.
Okay. All right, cool.
Great.
I'll actually send William the link when we've finished here.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Cole.
Yeah, awesome, man.
No,
Yeah,
great, man.
Yeah, Cole, thanks a lot for your time, man. I know it's precious. Thank you
hey,
for talking
lads,
to us.
thank you. Appreciate your
Yeah,
time.
man. It was lovely talking to you again. And geez, I can't wait for this this course, man. I really can't wait. So
yeah, looking forward to it, mate.
So please, anybody that's interested, please get a hold of Carl on his website. The link will be in the below. And then book immediately. As you said, the first 4 get 25% off. That's that's $5,000, man. Nice. I'm gonna be the first one. I used to get 5. Just so that someone else gets the chance.
You should use that. You should use a hashtag Strange Mysterious Strange Mysterious World. If you use that hashtag, then you can get your 25% off. Then you can be the first person to get it.
Cool.
No, awesome. Carl, thank you
Okay,
again, man, for
cool,
your time.
Carl. Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Cheers, lads. Have a
Cheers,
great
cheers.
one.
Bye.
Cheers, man. Aye.
Awesome, man. Nice chatting. I think it'll be quite an experience. I'll definitely go onto that Zoom one in November. I'll go and listen to what's going on there. Maybe you should join me as well. And those listening from
Yeah.
around the world, yeah. First week, we'll send me the link, and what I will then do is I can't even say it. Check out the Strange and Mysterious World, because that's like released weekly. So yeah, you're only gonna see this in about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah. But also, like, hey, guys, we're on YouTube now. You've been putting stuff on YouTube, so please, if you've made it this far in the video, you enjoy it, just like and subscribe. Please put a comment. It does, yeah. So if you know, like, it helps us a lot to get the stuff out there. So please, if you want to support us, it's the least you can do. If you're not asking for any money, just do that. And yeah, and see you next week.
Hit that like and subscribe, man. Yeah, cool. William, good one, bud. We'll chat to you again next week.
Yeah.
Everybody else, thank you again. Thank you, and we will see you soon.
Then your target number later.
Okay.
Cheers, man.